peace and happiness, the human mind wouldn't rest. A constant nag within we soul, demanding respect from the world. We get the urge in different form, but luxury is the norm. Money is very essential.
Check 1 2.
But can't buy peace of mind at all.
Check.
We still like dogs without a home.
Check 1 2. Check.
Get the money alone. Because appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because importance, if we are drive to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. The feeling has no barrier. Race and class doesn't matter. Once you alive, you in the game. You do anything to get a good name. Some wealthy men turn to suicide. Can't find food to feed their pride. The aged and crippled in the ring, fight to feel like a king. Children become delinquents for lack of love from their parents. That's why appreciation is most important to man. Appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because importance, if we are drive to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. Wage is never solution to bad industrial relations. Employees will gladly draw their pay and do the job half the way. When workman feeling unwanted, the working spirit is daunted. He comes on the job and fool around, production going down. Just make him feel significant. You get him do anything you want. A pat on the back is the best move for relations to improve. Appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because important, if we are drive to live, everyone's on the hunt. Every man ought to give generously. Our deepest craving is common. All we need is attention to put us in the happy zone, regardless of what we own. Life is lonely without it. Each one should give a little bit. do, then life on earth will be true. Take a tip from the scripture. Appreciate one another. Share your love and make the mold for total peace in the world. Appreciation plays on the human mind. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. Because important.
Right, good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to the UNC Monday Night Forum from Barataria, Don Miguel School. Tonight at 7, we will begin the UNC Monday Night Forum, where you'll hear from a battery of speakers. Right behind my camera stand here, I can't find a better place. I have here the chairman of the Cuva Tabaki Talparo Corporation, Mr. Awong. Right, Mr. Awong, I understand you're getting some serious problems in the Cuva Talparo Corporation with respect to funding.
Yeah, pleasant good evening to all your viewers and listeners. It's a serious problem we have in regards to releases from the Ministry of Finance. Over the last few months for this financial year, this year severe problem for funding under the various heads. For instance, under material and supplies, to purchase material to repair roads, to repair bridges, to build small little box drains and so on. So far for this financial year, we have received only $1.2 million under that particular head. And if you know, the regional corporation is one of the largest corporations in Trinidad with 14 electoral districts. It spans a area of over 719.6 square kilometers, over 178,000 people live in this region. This government has shown that they are not really interested in people's development. They are not interested in local government. They speak about local government reform, but their heart is far from it. So far, we have not just received funding to clear major water courses within the region. That is a severe problem because, as you know, we are in the rainy season, and we can expect something that what happened on Diwali last year, 2017, to reoccur, because even the Ministry of Works also, Drainage Division, and not clearing major water courses within the region. And as people would know, this central region, this Cuva Tabaki Talpa region, consists of a lot of major water courses. The Caparo River, the Gasparo River, the lot of rivers, the Claxton Bay River, all those rivers in this area need clearing and drenching. So far, this government and through the Ministry of Drainage, they are not doing any work on these water courses. So releases are a problem. They are not giving us the money to do the work. They are holding back. We have the money on their location, but actual release to spend, we are not receiving any funding there.
All right, well, all that you're telling me is all well and good, right? You're having problems, but how do you handle the demands of your burgesses when they're making comments? Because from the Your Voice site, we see that people saying that you're not doing your work, you're not doing a good job. How are you handling the complaints from the burgesses?
Well, I would want to use forum like this to continue to do news releases and so on to inform the burgesses that your regional corporation and your councillors and the council is working, but we could only work with what is given to us, because we are still dependent on central government for funding, right? And if they don't give us the funds, then we'll be in a really terrible situation, because we would not be able to get the work done. Contractors need to be paid to do work. I mean, those are things we need to buy material to do work. And if we are not getting the funding on those particular votes and heads, then we're in severe problem. All we are getting money, and we are sure we're going to get the funding for it for wages. And sometimes we have people, for instance, we have construction teams and no material for them to work. Right? So those are serious problems for us.
So, well, you know, we're in a little election mode. There's a little local government elections. You're a local government specialist. Based on the upcoming local elections, what plug you have with respect to your experiences that you have in Couva and what you could sell to the voters in Barataria?
Well, what I can tell you is that when the UNC was in government, funding was better for local government matters. This government campaigned in 2015 and in 2016 also local election on the promise of local government reform. They have shown that they are not interested in local government. A number of initiatives that they said they were going to implement is not forthcoming. So I am telling the people, vote and send a strong message to this present government. Just let them know that we are not supportive and we are not happy with the way they are governing this country.
When the UNC was in government, you used to get fair funding.
I can give you a perfect example. Under development programs for roads and drainage, for roads and bridges, we would have got up to 8 million under the UNC government, UNC People's Partnership government. Presently, under the PNM, we got 4 million, and that has been occurring since they came into power. Only 4 million. So there's a 50% decrease from the amount we was getting under the People's Partnership.
But I'm not following and understanding something. Was there a reduction in the overall budget, or is it just a cutback at your corporation, at your ministry?
Well, there was not a reduction in the overall budget. As a matter of fact, I think they were increasing the overall budget. But they are not managing well, and they don't seem to be able to manage well. And based on that now, I can speak for my regional corporation. There was a severe cutback, and in most cases was a 50% cutback in all the boats. Under recreation grounds was a 50% cutback. Under drainage was a 50% cutback. Under roads and bridges program was a 50% cutback.
Well, from what you're trying to tell me there, it seems as though, I don't know, I as a layperson, it seems as if it's some sort of discrimination or mismanagement or something.
I will tell you something, Archie. When sometimes they tend to show you that, look, PNM control corporations, and they will match it with UNC control corporation. They show, look, all again the same thing. But what they don't tell the people is that they have access to all these special purpose companies to do the work. So they will have companies like Sport-TT, which will do the work for them. They have Pure, they have URP, all those special purpose companies, and they are not sharing the spoils, or they are not sharing the resources of those special purpose companies. For instance, our ministry is rural development and local government. We are not sure, we have no say in what the rural development aspect of this ministry is doing. And they have quite a number of resources in there. So they are focusing on Moruga and so on, which they deem is marginal. And they are not giving our corporation and UNC Control Corporation none of that funding that comes under the special purpose company.
Well, based on what you're telling me there, a lot of your councillors in your corporation is feeling a lot of pressure. The pressure they're feeling is not from the cutbacks, they're feeling the pressure from the burgesses who are demanding upon them.
I want to urge the burgesses within our region to hold the fort, to hold strain. We continue to labor hard, we continue to do what we could do with the resources that is available. As a matter of fact, these days we are forming partnership in my corporation, Couva Tabaki Talparo. We are forming partnership with certain business companies, businessmen and so on. For instance, Price Club of Shagwanas, they are partnering with us to do a number of development type work in our area. And a number of other NGOs and CBOs are coming on board, and we are working together in order to at least appease and to do some kind of work within the region.
All right. Well, we have here the chairman of the Couva Tabaki Talparo Corporation, just giving us a little few insights as to the horrors that they face in the corporation. I understand you're having a little event tomorrow. Councillor Baliram had been advertising some march for crime.
Well, we are supporting the march against crime that was put together by the Caroli Central constituency. All my councillors this morning we had caucus, and we decided that we are all going to support this march tomorrow. We are urging the general public to come out and lend support. It's something that crime is on the front burner right now, and we need to show that we are not supportive and we are not happy with the government is treating with it.
All right, thank you very much. And I want to join with the councillor there. Well, I mean, I'm not supposed to be joining with the councillor, but I've been asked by Councillor Baliram to advertise that crime march tomorrow from 3 Roads Junction. What time?
From 7 o'clock.
from 7 o'clock, and we'd be marching
To Shagona's.
to Shagonas, somewhere around by the police station. So come out and show and register your disgust with the crime situation in Trinidad. So I'll take you stateside to the start of the UNC Monday Night Forum, which is due to start in about 15 minutes' time.
Testing, 1, 2. Could we all get to our seats, please? We're about to begin. So I'm asking kindly for everyone to find your seats. I know that lots of people are coming in at the same time, so we're going to start in a couple of minutes. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. We're about to start our program, but before we do, we have to go through our safety announcements, which is what I do. My name is Alderman Angie Benjamin. I am from the Couva-Tabaquite Regional Corporation. Tonight, we have our 3 emergency exits, one on your right, one on your left, and one directly in the center of the hall. In the event of an emergency, there will not be a siren, there will just be an announcement, and you are to proceed outside to the savannah across the road where you see all the big white tents. Our washrooms area are to my left in the back. Should you have a medical emergency, you are to contact any one of our executive or any one of the organizers here tonight, including myself, and we will direct you to the appropriate person. Again, we would like to welcome you to our Monday Night Forum, and we hope you have a great meeting. Have a good evening.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum. Sitaram. I will ask you kindly to stand for the national anthem and remain standing for the invocation immediately after.
Good afternoon. Lord, as we are about to go into this program, dear Father, we pray that you will bless each and every bowing head here this today. We pray that you will bless our Prime Minister, or not our Prime Minister yet, but our leader. Bless her, Lord Father. Keep her, give her strength, give her vitality, give her all that she would need so that she could fight the elections. Lord, I pray for Dr. Fuad Khan, who is our leader in this community. We pray for him that he will be able to lead the people aright. Lord, I pray also for Sharon Maraj Naram. She, Lord Father, she need you very much in her life. She need you to be able to walk with her and be able to speak with her and be able to carry on what it is she's supposed to do. Lord, be with her and be with every one of us here, dear Father. Protect us all as we would go home in our safety and keep us safe in your name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Glenda. That was Glenda Budram, a constituent of the Barataria San Juan constituency. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling this evening? The temperature is right to warm up the place. Let me hear you. UNC people, I am UNC and proud. Brothers and sisters, we are here tonight in the Monday Night Forum after our leader a month ago or so would have indicated out of respect for the month of Ramadan that she would have ensured that we stay away from the Monday Night Forum to give the respect that is deserved of the month of Ramadan. So tonight, after we have celebrated Eid, and Eid Mubarak to one and all, for those who I have not met, but certainly to all of those who would have taken part, Eid Mubarak to one and all. Tonight, we are here to meet and greet people who will now join the forces to move forward, to take this country back to freedom one more time. Tonight is our once in a night Monday Night Forum, starting again. It is said that leaders become great not because of their power, but because they can empower others. We have a leader who has already demonstrated not only to Trinidad and Tobago or to the Caribbean, but to the world, that a woman that has demonstrated already the ability to empower the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. This country has too many pessimists. This country has too many complainers. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. But the leader adjusts the sail. And we have in our midst the leader who will adjust the sails to move us out of the darkness of the PNM and take us to the light. We have the powerful leader in Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, I do not have to tell you why we are here, in addition to the fact of the problems that we see every day that is rearing its ugly head throughout the country. We have recognized that there's an attack on a number of people in this country. There's an attack on the Muslim community. There's an attack on the poor. There's an attack on people who have to live day to day and have to worry about property tax and have to worry about the next taxation. Because Taxmati is coming, and when she comes and puts her hand on you, it's trouble. Taxmati is Kol Milmbut. That is one person for sure will tax the country down to their knees. We have, in fact, an opportunity to add it to the forces that we already have here. A year ago, there was the death of 2 councillors. And as a result of that, a year later, we are waiting for representation in Belmont East and in Barataria. Today, you are here to endorse, to support, and to bring all that we can to ensure that Samuel Avantil and the areas in Belmont and the people in Port of Spain will be able to see UNC sitting in the seats of both regional corporations. That is what tonight is also about. I want to ensure that tonight you are comfortable and comforted because we have a battery of speakers. But I will not be the only person who will be standing here to speak to you and chair this meeting tonight. I want to tell you that tonight is a night that has powerful individuals. And the person who is going to share and co-chair with me tonight is none other than Dr. Carleen Suku, the research officer of the National Executive. Let me introduce Carleen Suku, who will share tonight's session with you.
Good night, everybody. Could we stand to our feet? Come on, stand up. Let me see some victorious people in this house. Come on. Come on, somebody. Let's see the winners in the house. How are you feeling tonight? I said, how are you feeling tonight? I said, how are you feeling tonight? What has the PNM done for you? I said, what has the PNM done for you? Say it one more time. What is the UNC going to do for you? Could somebody put their hands together? Come on. I'm pleased to introduce to you right now Councillor Amit Suknanan. He's from the Sawa. He's a councillor for the Sawa Lavantel Regional Corporation. He's a young man and versatile in the arts, and he's particularly working in the area of Aranguez and Warner Village. Could we give it up for your councillor, Amit Suknanan?
Good evening, my UNC brothers and sisters. You know, I must say I enjoyed the program this far. Y'all make some noise for our both chairpersons for tonight. Creating that energy. The energy they have just demonstrated is what we need on the roads of campaign to bring home our both seats to the Belmont area. Liana Gonzalez, make some noise for this candidate. And for this hometown Barataria, Miss Durham, Sharon Durham, make some noise. My brothers and sisters, my aunties and uncles, mothers and fathers, children, cousins, my UNC family, make some noise for yourselves and welcome to Barataria. My brothers and sisters, we have two very vital seats to campaign, to fight. We have an election. It is one election with one energy on both seats. We're going to split our armies into two and bring it home into one. Do you all believe in your candidates? I endorse both candidates today. Endorse your candidates today. My brothers and sisters, the question has been brought upon me in so many different times, in so many different occasions and environments that people has been asking me, what are you doing to get rid of Rowley? We, the UNC representatives, the officials, we remain fighting for our people, and we try to get the amount of resources to try to comfort you at your homes and your streets and your villages, your communities. But at this point in time, brothers and sisters of Trinidad and Tobago, what are you doing to get rid of Rowley from these two seats? It is about time that we do some soul searching, brothers and sisters. I got into politics because I have a heart. I have a solid golden heart to help people. We are activists of politics, yes, but we are humanitarians at the end of the day, and we believe in service to mankind. These two candidates that we just endorsed this evening were budding UNC activists that blossomed into two very fine, good-looking candidates today, intelligent candidates that I have no fear in saying that we can declare victory. My brothers and sisters, there are so many different topics that we can touch on today to express our dissatisfaction on this present government or this Rowley regime government, this PNM government presently. There are so many different things that we can talk about. But one thing that is bothering me, and I'm sure that is bothering everybody in this room and nationwide, those of you that are viewing, is crime, brothers and sisters, crime. If you are sitting in this room tonight and you know someone, whether it is a relative or a friend, that has been a victim of crime, put your hand in the air. I am seeing everybody's hands in the air. It is about time we get rid of Rowley and this PNM government. They are doing nothing for us. Nothing for us. My brothers and sisters, this man chose Eid to go and rest in my brothers and sisters' mosque. He accustomed using our people's time. He accustomed using his office time to rest. And now he using God time to rest. My brothers and sisters, if it is his time to rest, I definitely agree. He should find himself in a political cemetery where he can find all the rest that he needs. My brothers and sisters, I would like to leave on a very, very good note by saying thank you to Kamala Prasad-Bissessa for blessing us with two wonderful candidates. Tonight, make some noise for your both candidates. We will be victorious under the leadership of Kamala Prasad-Bissessa. I thank you very much.
Keep it coming, somebody wave the flags, come on. Come on, somebody. The United National Congress is the alternative government. Do you agree? I said the United National Congress is the alternative government. Could somebody give it up for that statement right now? We have to show the country that regardless of what is happening, we have the answer and we are the answer. The UNC has purpose, it has plan, it has objectivity, and it is for both men, women, and children. Could somebody lift up their hands and say, you know what? We are UNC and proud. I'd like to introduce to you Councillor Safraz Ali. He's also a councillor and he won the last election. Could we give it up for Safraz Ali?
A pleasant good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. Our political leader who is on her way was the best prime minister, is the best prime minister, and will be our next best prime minister again. MPs, our honorable MP Dr. Fuad Khan for 4 terms and running, and a next consecutive term if he accepts. They can't come in Sawa Barataria and beat Fuad, and neither they can't come in Barataria and beat Sharon because there's licks for them. My friends, our country is under real pressure. Real pressure. Have you all noticed when you walk in the streets and you look at people's faces? It's a long face, it's an angry face. Hardly you go see a smiling face. You know why? Because it's either you're fighting to make $1 or you're fighting to survive to the end of the day because there's some gunman trying to come and kill you. Right? And why is that happening? Why is that happening? Because under PNM, we have high crime. Anytime PNM come in power, it's high crime. One time from the day after. Like the criminals get happy. Murder, lawlessness, even suicide. People like they can't take the pressure, unfortunately. Loss of jobs. People losing their jobs left, right, and center. And I saw the Honorable Dr. Fuad Khan put a post about the trade unions. Very correct. The trade unions are so quiet. You can hear a pin drop among the trade unions. And tonight I say, shame on you trade unions, leaders. People losing their jobs, and what are you doing? Nothing. My friends, when you're driving on your road, bet your bottom dollar, the major roads, you're going to get vexed because the roads are so bad. The rivers are not being cleared. What is the Ministry of Works really doing under the minister? My friends, I have been trying to get the Sour River cleared for the longest while. And it's just a little piece I'm asking for. From by Eastern Main Road, come straight up by Johnny King there. You know what they tell me? Yeah, we will do it now, but it's number 50 or 20 list. So when the people getting flooded in Arangwes and Silver Mill and Bridge Road, right? They'll come and show their face and we'll tell them we were number 50 or 20 list. That is the kind of arrogance and scant disrespect they have for the people. So it boils down to no planning at all. When the rainy season comes, it's flood, flood, and more flood. And the thing about it is, we don't even see Rowley visiting people when they get the flood. Only one person has really come out, and that's the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisasa. My friends, Barataria, concentrating on our hometown of Barataria now. By the way, welcome to everybody. Barataria was and is out of a council for going on 1 year now. Going on 1 year now. And then Dr. Rowley will come and say he cares about the people. Is that caring about the people? To make sure they don't have a representative in the council for nearly going on a year now? I tell you all no. But I have news for Dr. Rowley and the PNM tonight. Tonight we will be introducing the next councillor to the Barataria, for the Barataria area, into the Sour Lavender Regional Corporation in Sharon Durham Maraj. And the next councillor for Belmont East is Miss Liana Bob Gonzalez. I can tell you all without any fear or hesitation that I have worked with Sharon for over 3 years now, my friends. And the people of Barataria would like you all to listen to this carefully. Sharon is very humble. She's very hardworking. She's very kind. Let me tell you all something. Sharon, working with Sharon for the past few months, I was starting to call Sharon counselor. Even though this was nowhere in the picture, her being announced as the candidate. I was saying, Sharon, you know you're going to make a real good counselor. And look how God make it work. Where he opened up an avenue for her to run for Barataria and our next candidate, our next counselor. My friends, we'll beat them in the east, we'll beat them in the west, we'll beat them in the south, we'll beat them in the north. Long live the UNC, long live Kamala Prasad Bisasa.
Let's hear it one more time for Safraz Ali, Councillor for San Juan East. I just want to take the opportunity to recognize a few of our members of the executive, those in Parliament, etc., who are here with us. And in no necessary, in not any special order, Dr. Daphne Phillip and her husband, Mr. Phillip, could you give them a round of applause? Die-hard members of the United National Congress. Mr. Rudy Indar Singh, MP for Kuva South. Khadija Amin, Senator. Tahaka Obika, Senator. Mr. Henry Awong, my friend, chairman of the Kuba Tabakit Alpha Regional Corporation. Mr. Barry Padarat, MP for Princeton, and presently seemingly residing in Barataria. Senator Saddam Hussein. Longevity goes along with this name, Senator, the Honorable Wade Mark. Powerful as he is, but the power really lies in Mrs. Khan. Could you give Dr. Khan's wife, Mrs. Khan, a welcome, please? Senator, the Honorable Gerald Ramdeen, and Dr. Rakram Bodo, MP for Faizabad, just to name a few. The next person to come to the podium is someone who I have known all my life for a specific reason. He's a resident of the Barataria electoral district, but resides in the constituency of Barataria San Juan. He's an individual, for those who know him, that will not put water in his mouth to say what he has to say. For 2 decades and some, he has been on the radio speaking on behalf of the rights, allowing people the opportunity to speak and to air their vision, their views, etc. He fights for freedom of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago through the media of the radio. He is giving citizens the opportunity to air their grouses on his program. He has been around in dealing with the issues surrounding the country and the leadership of the country. He is a true fighter. He's a tower of power. He's a giant of a man, a powerful individual. Let me take the opportunity to introduce my cousin, Sadro Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I hope that I can... We recognize Mrs. Jolene John. Special good evening to you, ma'am. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the kind introduction, and I hope that I can live up to his expectations. Mr. Chairman, our MP for the area, Dr. Fuad Khan, those at the head table, and of course our distinguished guests at the front row. See Wade Mark, usually see him around the savannah, but I'm not seeing him today, so that means he's not exercising. Amzad is here. Well, I think I've been allocated a short time to come to say a few words to you, and I would like to adopt a more serious approach, because we have 2 seats to win in an election. This is the most important thing. We are here, gathered here specifically for that purpose, to win the 2 seats. We in this area have the capability of winning the seat. There is no doubt about that. We won it the time before, and I'm sure because of lackadaisicalness, if you want to use that word, we have not won it when Councillor Bruno was there. But we have a great opportunity to win it now. And in winning it for the UNC, we are going to be sending a clear message to the Prime Minister. We are going to be sending a message to the PNM that we are coming strong this time around. That is why it is important for us to win this election. How are we going to win this election? It is all nice and dandy to come here and deliver fine speeches. It is important. It is important to hear facts and figures and so on from people like Mrs. Jolene John and Dr. Khan, who were in Parliament and occupied cabinet positions before, former Speaker Wade Mark. We have Gerald Ramdeen, Dr. Rudy Indar Singh and so on. They will give you informed statistics and facts and deal with the issues itself. But what we need to do, we who are gathered here, are the true UNC supporters. That is why we are here this evening. And we need to make a commitment to our party, and we need to make a commitment to our candidate, and we need to even if each one of us give 10 minutes of time, consider it work time, to work for your candidate in the area, we can win this seat. And the same applies to Ms. Bab in the Belmont area. And even in her area, it would be much more fantastic if we were to win that seat. So I want you all here to take this seriously this evening. Go outside there from tomorrow. We have a local government election to fight. Go out there. Talk to people. There are people who cannot make up their minds. You can help them make up their minds. Use the power of persuasion. Persuade them. Talk to them. Show them the life they had between 2010 and 2015 and the life that they have now in 2018. And you can clearly show them the difference. I wanted to say something about the PNM, but there's absolutely nothing to say. They have done absolutely nothing in 3 years. There's nothing that I could pinpoint that the PNM, our lives in every aspect, has deteriorated to a point where every single person is frustrated in society today. So there's absolutely nothing we can say, but it gives you much to say to your fellow neighbor, family member, and so on in the area. So I'm appealing to you as I give my commitment to the UNC, because you know, you have a lot of third parties coming up these days. And these third parties, I call them nuisance parties. They have nuisance value. But with that nuisance value, it gives the PNM the opportunity to walk away scot-free. So we need to persuade people. Forget these third parties. Some of us, when we are disappointed with decisions made by our executive, by our political leader, the first thing we want to run around and do is form a party. Form a party. I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome our political leader. Would we give her a nice round of applause, please? Our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad. We warmly welcome our political leader, the Honorable Mrs. Kamla Prasad. So ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, as I was saying, we have a situation in this country where every time somebody within the leaders of the party, the political leader or the hierarchy of the party, the executive makes a decision that we disagree with, we go and form a party. And that doesn't augur well for us in the UNC. We must remain firm and committed to the party. You don't like something, there's an internal election, go in the internal election, fight a seat and get on the executive, and then you can make decisions you want to make. That is how the process works. So my appeal to you, dear friends, is to make sure you go out there, sell the party, sell our political leader, giving you that salesman job tonight, and ensure that we win these 2 seats that are up for grabs in this local government elections. Before I conclude, I just want to give my firm commitment to the political leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamla Prasad. Over the 20 years or so that I've been on the radio and so on, I have had the opportunity to observe, look at leaders. And before that, even self, I've interviewed former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, I've interviewed Sir Ellis Clark, I've had interviews with Mrs. Bissessa, of course, Mr. Pandey, and most of our leaders. And I can tell you one thing for sure, based on what I have observed, the most people-oriented person that have ever led this country is Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Almost every single decision that she has made while she was the Prime Minister of this country redounded to the benefit of all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is why I give my firm commitment to her, to the UNC. I hope you can do the same thing and don't be wavered by any third party that may come up now for now. Thank you very much. Last but by no means least, I'd like to tell you that I think I have 98% of Mohammedville under control. There's that 1 or 2%. Right. I know them well. But I can give you the assurance that we are firmly behind Mrs. Sharon Durham. Sometimes you can tell the character of a person by what they do. When you play with dogs, you just get fleas. I just say that. When you play with dogs, you just get fleas. Mrs. Durham has been associated with the temple on 9th Street in Barataria and is a volunteer worker. It means that she goes out there, do things to help people in general without any compensation. She does this out of the goodness of her heart. She's the kind of person, if she's your counselor, that is very approachable, very humble, very gentle, and a wonderful human being. And so I can tell you the 98% of us in Mohammedville and surrounding areas, and these days I live in the Noor Islam Mosque too. So I have 98% of them up there too, in the mosque there too as well. We give you our commitment, Mrs. Mad. We will be voting for you on local government election day. Dear friends, I would like to thank the chairman and everybody for the opportunity to say these few words to you. And I hope that you take me seriously with regard to selling the party. Let us go out there, fight, and win the next. There's 2 seats that we have coming up for grabs. Thank you very much.
Don't leave it a tower of power. Give him another round of applause, my brothers and sisters. As we move on in the program, I just wanted to indicate that Barataria, San Juan, has been a place that has held its head high because of one individual who kept the flag burning continually for 6 occasions. An individual who came into Barataria in 1995 and would have demonstrated the type of individual by holding strong to the principles of our party. An individual who has met and walked the length and breadth of the constituency, meeting people on a regular basis in dealing with the problems of the residents of the constituency. He is a man who talks straight. He's a very affable character. I understand some of the ladies have all sorts of very nice expressions for him, because he's one of the gentlemen, I'm told by some of the ladies, a very handsome gentleman. And I could endorse, if you look around, to look at the gentleman. But more importantly, he has won this present constituency on 6 occasions. The PNM don't know how to deal with this man. And they will never know how to deal with this man. Because he's a man that is a tower of strength. He's a man who knows how to deal with the people. Let's bring him on with a lusty round of applause. Dr. Fuad Khan.
President, good night to everyone, the Honorable Political Leader and Dr. Greg Bisesa, members of the head table, my parliamentary colleagues, and hope soon to be my cabinet colleagues. That passed you all over. Now, I want to take this time to reflect on something. Yesterday, I was driving to San Fernando, and we all drive to San Fernando. But for some strange reason yesterday, when I reached Cuba, I looked on my left, and I saw a wonderful building, 3 large structures on one side of the road, which was a Cuba Children's Hospital, not opened. 3 years have gone. We had our plan to open it. Up to now, the PNM can't seem to open it. I looked on the right-hand side, and you know what I saw? A national aquatic center, a national cycling center. And I realized something. Right around Cuba, there was a Center for Aviation Studies, a first in the country. So we had 3 firsts watching at us, one spot. Cuba Children's Hospital, which we built under Ms. Kamala Prasad's tenure. The Aquatic Center, the Cycling Center, the Velodrome. And when I started to think about it, I realized just down the road there's the San Fernando Teaching Hospital, another first that Dr. Lakram Boudou and myself were able to put together, thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister at that time. And my mind started to reflect again. You know, sometimes in your quiet moments and you're driving, looking at the road, and I started to think about the Karen Arts Health Center, which we didn't have to build. That's in PNM territory, wasn't it? A beautiful structure which was supposed to open 24 hours now does not see the light of day after 4 o'clock in the evening on weekends. State of the art. In there, x-rays, ultrasounds, dental units, everything. Never open on the weekends to serve the people who are going down there. Then I started to think about the Arima Hospital, which we began. The Women's Outpatient Center, which we almost completed. I started to think about the National Eye Institute and the whole set of different things we were doing. And I realized that I was fortunate to be at a time in this country when we had prosperity, 2010 to 2015. Under a leader, and I make no bones of saying that, who was very strong in cabinet, but also had the human touch, was able in cabinet to marshal all the cabinet people with a nice motherly touch. We got our way to do what we had to do once you presented it correctly. And I remember the time when I first became the minister, Ms. Kamala Prasad said, "Fuad, I want you to open Scarborough Hospital." And we got it opened. It was languishing there for the longest while. We got it opened. People forget that. And then I went to the Honorable Prime Minister at the time, Ms. Kamala Prasad, and I said, Honorable Prime Minister, Tobago does not have an MRI unit in that hospital. PNM forget to put it. And also a cath lab for cardiac services. So if you have a cardiac problem in Tobago, you have a problem. You have to be flown to Trinidad and die on the way. So I asked her if we could put one in Tobago. You know, without batting an eyelid. She said yes. And we put an MRI and a cath lab in Tobago. So Tobago is complete. And we were on our way. We were on our way in Tobago to set up the first offshore medical school in Tobago. That was what we were going to do. Set it up in Tobago to start. And give the Tobago people an educational tourism system. So when I looked at the Cuba Hospital, my mind started to wander. And I realized that prosperity has now gone out of the window. If anyone in this room could stand up here and say they're doing well tonight, stand up. I can't. I better sit down. I can't sit down, we have a chair here. And the thing about even PNM in this country fed up. And then I asked myself, what happened in 2015 when we did all that? I have just named what I was doing in health. And I haven't named 1/4 of what we were doing. And when I see Dr. Budu shake his head, I talk about the Palo Seco Center, all the centers we did, and also we were able at that tenure to fix all the health centers using CPEP and URP, which Imbert has refused to pay the contractors. You know that? He has refused to pay the contractors, and he said he ordered in for 3 years. But it's to make us taste the bitter pill, pressure them, because he's on record as saying, I raised gas prices 3 times and they do not man and he laugh. So blows for everybody in this country, and blows more so property tax, gas prices rising, food rising. What is not rising? I'm just trying to be practical here. So when I realized that in 2015, I asked myself, what went wrong? Why did people behave? And I realized what it was. People tend to listen to old talk, not performance. So tonight, I want you all to think tonight. We've gone through 3 years almost of total hell under the PNM. There is nothing innovative that's happening. We see what's happening with the Prime Minister, what he's doing right now. What the ministers are doing right now. What the other so-called central part of the government doing right now. And I want to ask you all something here tonight. Because the PNM has said something, and I heard it on the ground. They say that UNC people soft. That's what they say, you know. They say all you can't win nothing. And they're going to win Barataria, they're going to win Belmont, because UNC people soft and they don't come out to vote. That's what they said, And I wanted to say to myself, I wonder if this is true. That's why after all that performance, we stayed in opposition. We're supposed to be riding high in prosperity in this country right now. We're supposed to be moving forward, not backward ever, forward never. Because that's what was happening in this country. People losing their jobs. There's no gate. The gate has been curtailed to a small, from a gate this size to a small gate this size. People are coming to my constituency office, very well qualified from our tenure, no jobs. People are trying to get a house. People have the money to buy the house, money to in-house HCC. They can't get even a hearing with the minister. Who's the Minister of Housing? Say it. Who's the Minister of Housing? And you can't get a hearing with him because he's not there. And you can't see the HCC chairman, you can't see anybody. And nobody knows anything about what's going on. All they know is that PNM people getting houses all over the country. And that is what they're seeing. So right now, if this country wants to make a change and send a message to the PNM, they have a chance on July 16th to send a message and say, look, enough is enough. We're not soft. We have a leader that is leading. We have people who are going to go out and vote. Now, if we don't win that Barataria seat and Belmont seat, Belmont is a hard seat. Hopefully we can win it. We have a very good candidate. We have a good candidate in Ms. Sharon. You know, if we don't win that seat, what happens? All of us look bad. Because if in a time like this, we can't muster up the people to beat the PNM, when the PNM, people and all vexed, something wrong. So I want to tell you here this evening, we have 2 fantastic candidates. Candidates that we could compete with anywhere, even in a general election. And we have to stand behind them to move them forward. Because I want you all to take back to the time I just said, a time of prosperity that existed, a time we tend to forget, a time where you got VAT removed from 7,000 items. Remember that? Remember that? You had a prime minister, Eid, Diwali, Christmas. You would get the cost price on flour, rice, and other things, on oil. We would get hampers. Remember the hampers? We were able to give out hampers, about 100 hampers, almost every holiday and Christmas. Food cards, people cannot even see a food card. People come to us and I have to take money out of my pocket to give them out to buy groceries because we could have given a food card. P&M has stopped that. I'm trying to figure out right now, are we really that soft? Are we going to let P&M win again after all this? Are we going to sit down and say to ourselves, we're going to see if the other person is going to go and vote? Are we going to take up ourselves and go and vote ourselves? Unemployment in this country is high, and union leaders talking rubbish tomorrow. You'll see them. But at least one thing they realize is that Rowley ain't no good. They realize that. They actually realize that. And at the end of the day, the PNM, what have they done? The Galleon's Passage was a boat they bought in China. Remember that? Where's the Galleon's Passage now? Where is it? It has reached Cuba. And I'm going to tell you something. The honorable leader of the opposition made something, and I also made it in Parliament, and I said the American, the U.S. Coast Guards inspected the boat. I think it was in Hawaii. And they found a whole set of flaws. And when I asked in Parliament the question to the Minister of Finance, Imbert, he said they never found any flaws. But we have documents now to show that the water pump was mashed up, the fire system was, and a whole set of different flaws were found. So we're going to take that up in Parliament very soon. But we were just waiting for confirmation again on certain things. So I'm just telling you, you also, you know, I'm trying tonight to be as serious as I can because this is a serious time. When you see people come into your office who were once working for very good jobs, who now have nothing, who have their savings have been depleted, everything is gone. At what they could have sent the children to school because of GATE, which we did, which Kamala Prasabi says increased. We can no longer do that. It's not happening. You can't find it. Maureen, you're right. So I'm just asking myself, are we going to sit down and take this? Yeah? You see, I was reading something the other night, and I realized it makes sense at this time. You know, there's something that said there's a time and a season for everything under the heavens. A time to live, a time to die, a time to sow, a time to reap. We want to put in our own thing, a time to get rid of the PNM, and a time to put back in the UNC. Thank you very much. Long live United National Congress, and strength and well-being to the honorable leader of the opposition. Have a good night, everyone.
Jerlene John has run many organizations in the state and private sector. She was the former managing director of the Housing Development Corporation and chairman of UDCOT. Currently, Ms. John is the coordinator for the La Hocata Talparo seat. I want you to give a warm welcome to Jerlene John.
Councillor Ahmed, Chairman, Mr. Nazimul Mohammed and Dr. Karlin Suku, Councillor Ahmed Suknanan, Councillor Afrazali, Sandro Mohammed, Dr. Fuad Khan, MP for Barataria. Our candidates, Ms. Barb Gonzalez, and Ms. Sharon Marad. Members of Parliament, senators, our UNC family, my people from the Hokita Talparo constituency. The corridor has shown up in support of our two UNC candidates, Mrs. Sharon Maraj Duram and Ms. Liana Bab Gonzalez. These candidates have been selected after an exhaustive screening process by the screening committee as the two best choices to first win the by-election in Barataria and Belmont and thereafter serve in the capacity of councillor. Tonight is very important to the UNC, especially in light of the party's stated philosophy to work in the interest of the people from the ground up. We strongly advocate for community-based governance, so whether it is cleaning of the drains, cutting of the grass in abandoned lots, securing a supply of pipe-borne water, as was done in Belmont, maintenance of secondary roadways, establishing amenities such as football fields, cricket grounds, basketball courts, pan theaters, homework center. As the coordinator for La Hokita Talparo, I've worked with three extraordinary councillors, Mr. Ryan Ramprasad, who is not here tonight, Mr. John Lezama, I don't know if he's here, but here is Ms. Balmati Gosain. I want you to pay a tribute to them. Today have the best councillors in Trinidad and Tobago, and I know that Sharon and Liana will join them. If the only issue our councillors had to treat with were those mentioned earlier, we would have been okay. But in Trinidad and Tobago, today crime has become a nightmare for every citizen. However, it appears as if we have become immune to the killings. It is as if we have lost our humanity. Each murder is tossed on the pile of gang-related or domestic violence. Unendingly, the killings go on. There is no national outrage by these whole-scale loss of lives, which are mostly young people in the prime, gone way too soon, lost to us forever. Even in the face of the constant killings, some of these events stand out as more gruesome, more shocking, more vile. On Friday, June 8 at 10:45 p.m., a gunman opened fire on the corner of Erica Street and Old St. Joseph Road in Laventille. After the rampage, dead was 16-year-old Joshua James, 38-year-old Carlos Abraham, and 49-year-old Curtis Hepburn. These murders brought the death rate for 2018 to 244. Joshua James, 16 years, was in the yard of his family home playing a video game when he was shot. He died on the spot. Carlos Abraham was spending the night lying at Liberty Bar to celebrate the birthday of a friend from the area. He was shot when he tried to run after he heard the gunfire. He too died on the spot. Abraham was a taxi driver in the area, they said, who used to transport school children. Alana, a neighbor, whilst lamenting his death, said Abraham was a son to her. Carlos is a community person. He was a youth officer, etc. Abraham is the father of a 5-year-old daughter named Destiny, who is scheduled to start school in the coming school year. The third victim was Chris Hepburn. He was shot while urinating in a track between Joshua James' home and Liberty Bar. His father-in-law said he was a good man. He worked hard. My friend, something else caught my attention last week. At first, I paid no mind to it until it was all over the place and you could not have avoided it. I'm certain, like me, you would have seen a lot of WhatsApp messages. And what it was purported to be, or it appeared to be, a document dump of gang members' information. On the street of the capital city, people commented openly that the information appeared to be an official document dump, which gave details such as names, addresses, etc., of alleged gang members. Now, from observations, most of these photos of alleged gang members were taken in what appeared to be an official capacity. These didn't appear to be Kim Kardashian-style selfies. These appear to be mock shots. If these photographs are genuine from the addresses listed, these are purportedly young men from the same PNM constituencies in Laventille. What then is the purpose of the document dump? Is it that someone somewhere has decided that Laventille time has come, it is time to clean up the place, and they have let loose the dogs of war in Laventille? Is it that Laventille, the people now are to become collateral damage? Because that is what they describe. I am asking, are those photos which have been circulated on WhatsApp genuine? Yes. Do you know those young men who are featured in the mugshots? Are they Laventil your sons, your relatives, your neighbors? Are you aware that if these photos and the accompanying information is genuine, then whomever took that decision to release those photos on social media, they have effectively put a bullseye on every resident in Laventil, every resident in Belmont, every resident in Barataria, every resident in San Juan, every resident in St. James, every resident all over the country. It is a bullseye. Whilst all of this is going on, MP Hines took what he called a spiritual walk, with truck playing hymns throughout the area. I am told that during this holy walk, Hines attempted to shake a resident's hand. The resident told him, if you touch me, I will cut off your dread. I tell the resident to go straight ahead and then chase that crazy bald head out of town. You know, you will recall that on November 29th, at a press conference, the Attorney General, Faris Alwari, revealed statistics relating to gangs. He said there are 2,459 known gang members in the country. This information, he adds, comes from law enforcement intelligence. He said they needed this bill, this magical bill, which is called the Anti-Gang Bill of 2017. This bill was proclaimed on the 25th of March 2018. Part 3 of the bill under the powers of police officers, section 15(1) states, a police officer may arrest without warrant a person whom he has reasonable cause to believe is a gang leader or a gang member, or who has reasonable cause to believe has committed an offense under this act. So if this information is in the hands of law enforcement, why has no action been taken? There are currently 3 MPs representing Laventil. Not one word from any one of them. When is enough enough? You will think that by Laventil, after voting 60 years or so solidly for the PNM, will realize that they are on their own. Each election cycle, they go to the polls and loyally vote for the PNM, hoping that this time, this one time, one of the 3 men or women they put in high office will take a tough message to the political directorate. Dr. King said, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But the conscience asks the question, is it right? I'm asking MP Hines, McDonald and Leons tonight, is it right? You know the same Leons who can't catch his boss's eye. And then Hines, who was put in the Ministry of Works and Transport, then he was taken out, didn't get a cent to spend there to help the people of Laventil. He was taken out, then he was taken into the Ministry of Public Utilities. They pelt him out. They put a Ghanaian instead of Hines. The third move, Hines was placed in the Ministry of the Attorney General to dust files. Now when that move came on July 2nd, 2017, Rhonda Crystal Rambley went up to the to Laventil to sample, to ask them how they felt about Hines being out of any, just dusting file. Now he's a fella who just dusting the file. The Chinapur resident said Hines doesn't deliver to his people. He never did anything for this community. A fella called Abdullah said from handling a full ministry, like a man, they put him as a helper, like a boy. If that was done to me, I was moving. Now, this is all happening because people just give up their votes. Now, when people ask, the comments went on and on with people just expressing their displeasure in the quality of service they're getting from the MPs of these corridor communities. When Hines was asked, why are you taking this indignity? He misquoted a Freddie McGregor song. He said, well, big ship sailing at the ocean, me no want no promotion, Jarastafari. You see Hines in typical PNM, well you see, I want to tell Hines tonight, you have to be dread to be Rasta, you know. You understand? I am more Rasta than Hines. You understand what I'm saying? Because Rastafari, you know, it's in your heart. Is the love you feel. The principle of Rastafarian is the love you feel in your heart for people. It's the compassion you feel for people. So tonight you tell Hines, you don't have to be dread to be Rasta. You understand? It is not a dreadlock thing. So you see, in typical PNM style, he has taken the people of Laventil's vote and forgot why they voted for him in the first place. He's content just to be called Mr. Minister. It is about social standing. If Hines had insisted to his cabinet colleagues that Laventille required the attention and respect of the government, today's 16-year-old Joshua James might have grown up to be a medical doctor, just like Hines' son. His life was relegated to collateral damage, a premise unkept. 38-year-old Carlos Abraham, his 5-year-old daughter Destiny, might have spent a memorable day yesterday being daddy's little girl. Now her lasting memory will be of them covering her father's grave. I'm asking tonight, I'm asking Hines, Marlene, and Leons, who is going to love Destiny now that her father is gone? And 49-year-old Curtis Hepburn was urinating. How bizarre does it get that you could get killed for doing a natural human function, for peeing? He was killed. So the trio are believed to be collateral damage in an ongoing war in the area. So after all of this out of control crime, the member for parliament decided he's going to levitate. When there is need for law and order to be restored, that the streets will be safe for the children of Laventille and the corridor, that schools will teach children how to be excellent, that neighbors will love neighbors. And what I've found in my going around in these communities is that people have given up on the government, but the people have not given up on themselves. The people have not given up on the people. And you find in every area, neighbors are doing for neighbors. People are now building bus shelters. They are fixing football fields. They are fixing their own community centers. They are fixing their homework centers. That is what is happening. They are not dependent on the government anymore. I mean, I don't have the time to go into what we did. I mean, the kind of work, the order we brought to Laventille. Because to institute law, there must be order. Every community, Mango Rose, Beverly Hill, Harp Place, every one of them, they were all fixed. They were all renewed. They were all renovated during the time of the People's Partnership. And that is why crime could have been done. So what happened when these people died? What did the PNM people do when you had this massacre? They sent a tweet in the style of Donald Trump. 3 people lost their lives in Laventille in their prime. And all you got from the PNM is a Donald Trump style tweet. The tweet came from Francis Lovell, Minister in the Education Ministry. Condolences to the students and staff of Success Laventille Secondary on the loss of another young life. This must end. I agree with Lovell. This must end. Erica, a resident who wanted to remain kind of anonymous, said, all you're in a war and all you don't know who are you fighting against. All you're in a war and don't know who the targets are. I tell him tonight, Laventille and the corridor, the target is the PNM. They have kept themselves in power by keeping the people of Laventille and the corridor communities destitute. People who are destitute does not have the means to resist. It is a callous and deliberate strategy. So I say tonight, corridor, I say tonight, Belmont, I say tonight, Barataria, don't be so disenchanted, fed up, depressed, and I know you're jobless. Because we stand with you. Because after you've done all you can, what you do, you have to stand. You have to stand for something. You understand? So tonight, I'm asking Barataria, I'm assuring them that the UNC stands with you. The UNC stands with Sharon Mirage Durham. Belmont, the UNC will see you too. The UNC stand tonight with Liana Bab Gonzalez. Stand tonight with Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Let her be your bridge over troubled water. I assure you that in the house of the rising sun, there are many mansions. And if it were not so, I would have told you. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
One day, things must get better. Don't you go down, keep your head above the water. One day, things must get better. Be strong, and I say, what a firm meditation. One day, things must get better.
Thank you very much. Let's say it one more time for Jolene John, a fighter. Just want to make 2 announcements very quickly. A card was found earlier on this afternoon. I have the card in the name of Stefan Ramdan. Could you please check me after the meeting to collect the card? And just to indicate for those who are interested to join the bandwagon, we will be walking tomorrow evening from 2 o'clock right here in front of the school. We'll give you the locations and the streets. And at 6:30, we'll have a meeting at 3rd Avenue by Sharon's office, which is just after 12th Street on 3rd Avenue. I want to recognize a number of people who are here, but all protocol observed. I want to maximize the time so you can hear it all. So welcome to all those who are here, who came in a little while ago.
I want to introduce a past student of this very primary school who is sitting here tonight. She's a past student of St. Augustine Girls High School, former secretary of the National Affairs Committee for the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, Guild student 2016-17, a graduate of the University of the West Indies with a bachelor's in psychology and political science, an aspiring psychologist, the future of our nation, the leaders that will come. Let me bring on Sister Manisha Padarat.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I am humbled to have the honor of introducing a dynamic and endearing leader. When she was in office, there were approximately 55,000 jobs created. Students entering secondary school level of education were equipped with free laptops, helping them move forward with the technological advancements of the world. All citizens entering tertiary level institutions received full gate funding regardless of their socio-economic status. Single mothers benefited from a $500 monthly stipend. Leading from the front, the Children's Life Fund was established using her own salary. The Coover Children's Hospital was built in hopes of creating better and more efficient health care. The UWI Debe campus, along with various highways, were built throughout the country. Many areas received street lights, paved roads, and access to water for the very first time. All of these being done without the introduction of a single new tax. Ladies and gentlemen, the race for a brighter Trinidad and Tobago officially begins on Monday, the 16th of July. The youths of Barataria and myself will be voting for the UNC candidate, Mrs. Sharon Mirage Durham. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the future Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Persad Bisasa.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Good night. All protocols observed. I'm very excited and happy to see so many members of the UNC family. Can we welcome our candidate for Belmont East, Liana and her posse. And let us also welcome our candidate for Barataria, Sharon. All of you, I'm very happy to come back to this school, and can we thank the Mahasabha and Sat Maharaj for allowing us the use of this school. I know several members of our team, including our candidates, have been walking the streets, meeting with you, and listening to what you have to say to them. They're both excellent candidates. They have been committed to helping out in their communities, and so I would introduce each and ask them to speak with you so you can hear them for yourself. So first, the homegrown girl right here in Barataria, Sharon Daramaraj. Sharon is no stranger to this district and to this community, having attended schools here in Barataria, having lived here. She spent some time abroad, attended a college in Baltimore. She pursued an education in the area of business admin. She worked in the hospitality sector for some time. When she started her family, she decided to devote some more time to family. Give her a round of applause, a good mother. And those children, her children, have all completed their university education. Something I know that we are all very proud about. She has been very active in this committee promoting culture. She is, in fact, a member of the National Pagua Council of Trinidad and Tobago. And she understands well that participating in our democracy is very important. And so she became involved in our great party, the United National Congress, because she believes that our great party has the best interests of the people of our country at heart. She put herself forward to serve on the Barataria San Juan executive. She holds the position there of party organizer. Please welcome a very active member of our party, a community activist, Sharon Maraj Dharam.
Thank you, Honorable Leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Visesa. Hello and good evening to my UNC family. A special good evening to our political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Visesa, the Member of Parliament for Barataria San Juan, Dr. Fuad Khan, Deputy Political Leader, Ms. Jolene John, Councillor Safra Zali and Amit Suknanan, Alderman Nazmul Mohammed, Mr. Sadra Mohammed, chairpersons for tonight Monday Night Forum. Welcome to Don Miguel Hindu School and welcome to the Electoral District of Barataria. Thank you for this warm welcome. I am happy to be here in front of so many wonderful friends and supporters. Before I begin, I would like to thank God for this opportunity to be selected as the candidate to represent Barataria in this by-election. I would like to thank our political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Visesa, the screening committee, and member of the Parliament of Barataria Sawa, Dr. Fuad Khan, for placing their trust in me as the candidate for Barataria. To my other two colleagues who were nominated, Mr. Harilal Prasad and Mr. Surendra Padarat, I look forward to your support as we work together to bring home this crucial seat. Allow me to formally introduce myself. I am Sharon Maraj Dharam. I attended Barataria Senior Comprehensive School and then went on to pursue a career in business administration. At this present time, within the Barataria district, we are experiencing an increase in crime, poor infrastructure, and a plaguing pest infestation, just to name a few. When elected as a councillor, I intend to work closely with you, the constituents. I intend to provide representation as a functioning councillor, which falls in line with my duties as one of the guided by the laws and rules of a councillor. I wish to represent the rights of the people at the council level because that is what you deserve, Barataria, proper representation. I am part of the UNC because UNC is a party that works, and therefore I ask you to put me to work for you. I have spent many years as a community social worker at different levels, which will enhance my strengths and ability to continue my work as a councillor and community worker to make a better life for our constituents. My friends, I once again express my gratitude to our political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Visesa, our MP, Dr. Fuad Khan, the constituency executive, and our party for the confidence held in me to represent the residents of Barataria. What we need change, and this change is necessary because the people of Barataria have been running in circles. This change starts with you and your voice in the form of a vote. Your vote will represent the change you want to see. I am calling on you, the residents of Barataria, who deserve better, Come July 16, vote for change, vote for hope, vote for progress. I ask you for your vote to bring back good governance to our country. I ask for your vote because I will stand up and fight for you. I ask for your vote so that we can send the PNM a message that enough is enough. I am a fighter. I am a UNC warrior. This time is now. This time is now for you to put on your boots and take back our communities and take back our country. Let us make our communities safe again. Let us work towards community groups, better facilities, recreation for our children, greater dialogue and visibility from your candidate. I promise to be accessible to you. I will keep close to the ground and work with you in your communities for better roads and drains. I can do it. Put me to work for you. I am about getting the job done and delivering results. With your vote, we can do it together. This by-election is an opportunity to send a message to the government that the people are not happy with their performance. I ask all of you here tonight to join our crusade. Let us work as a team, a neighborhood, and a family in this election. Let this by-election be the sign of victory for whenever the general election is called. Come join us on the road to victory on July 16. Let victory prevail. Let God bless our nation, our political party, and our political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bisesa. Onward to victory. Let us bring home Barataria. Vote me, Sharon Maraj Durham, as your candidate for Barataria by-election 2018. Let victory be ours. We have great battles ahead, but we are strong. We are resilient. We are UNC, and we are proud. Together we will achieve victory. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our leader, Kamala Prasad-Bisesa. Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to speak and God's blessings. Thank you all very much and have a safe journey back to your home. Good night.
I am UNC. We are UNC and we are proud. Sharon has made us very proud tonight. We just have to help her do the groundwork. You have to help her to ensure that we put her to work here in Barataria. I want to introduce our candidate for Belmont East, Ms. Liana Bab Gonzalez. She has a very strong commitment to the community in Belmont. She operates a nursery, kindergarten, and a boxing gym in the district. So she has the skills to deal with the young ones, and she has a skill to deal with the not so good ones with her boxing skills. She's dedicated. She will knock them out, yes. Come July 16, she will knock out the PNM candidate. She's a dedicated and hard-working mother of three children. She's a self-starter, ambitious, focused, and devoted person. She is also well qualified. She has multidisciplinary training, in such vocations as childcare, nursing, security, computer science, and office management. And her famous words that I remember well: I enjoy working with people, especially young adults and children, Liana told us in the screening committee. She was introduced to the UNC by a relative of hers who was easily identified with the party's allegiance. I have no doubt that Liana will bring victory to the UNC as I welcome her to the platform.
Thanks for your warm welcome. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. Good evening, my brothers and sisters of UNC family. Now I am one of you. Honorable political leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Basasa, my fellow candidate for the Barataria electoral, Sister Sharon Maharaj Durham, other members of the head table, senators, members of parliament, and all members and supporters, friends, and family of the UNC family. As you all know, my name is Liana Bab Gonzalez, your candidate for the Belmont East Electoral District, which I intend to bring home to the United National Congress. Come Monday, 16 July 2018. This evening, we say to the people of the electoral district of Barataria and Belmont East, don't hope for change, vote for change. As I embark on my walks and met with the people in my community, I encountered many issues, including crime, poor water supply, high unemployment, especially among the youths in the community, poor road maintenance, poor garbage collection, and many other pressing issues. In 2017, Trinidad and Tobago recorded some 494 murders. In the first 6 months of 2018, we have already recorded 248 murders, and at the present rate of murders, our beautiful country could record over 550 murders by the end of 2018. Imagine, in January 2018 has already been deemed the bloodiest month of this year. But where is our sleeping Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley? Where is our incompetent Minister of National Security, Edmund Dillon, in all of this that is happening in our country? Is he also sleeping on the job like the Prime Minister? Rest in peace to a mother of 5 from San Grande, deceased Margaret Guevara, a teacher who was shot by a relative who later attempted suicide. But why is this happening? Why are there so many guns on our streets? Those who carry these weapons show no value whatsoever for the lives of others. What will happen to those motherless and fatherless children whose parents have been murdered? Is it that people cannot disagree without inflicting violence on others? What is this incompetent Rowley-led government doing about these failures? In September 2015, they were red and ready. Today, our streets have been filled with rivers of blood. What are they doing to address this crying tsunami? Absolutely nothing. It has been said, my brothers and sisters, that empty vessels make the most noise. This is what the Prime Minister has been doing for the last 3 years. This evening, I call on the people of Barataria and the people of Belmont East. Don't hope for change. Vote for change. The young people need jobs. Where are the jobs? On my walkabouts, there was a shrill cry of the people, especially the youths. Even if are hired in some businesses, they are the first to be fired because they are not judged by their performance but lack of experience. Some therefore fall into the cracks. Some may even try to open small businesses, which is sometimes difficult to secure funding and loans. It is common for the PNM to stereotype young people. Let us give the young people the opportunity to perform and demonstrate their skills and abilities. The PNM cannot continue to condemn the young people as being irresponsible and or lazy. Remember, we also were young at one time and somebody took chance to give us the opportunity to prove ourselves. We need to find ways to motivate, inspire, and encourage our young people. Everyone cannot be lawyers or doctors or engineers. We need to develop the skills and abilities of our young people to provide them with dignified and decent work. The body cannot do without the head. The body cannot do without the head. Nor the head with the body. If you understand what I mean. We all need each other to function efficiently and positively. We must not only encourage the strong, but towards motivating and inspiring the weak and the vulnerable. Remember, my brothers and sisters, don't just hope, don't hope for change, vote for change. Another main issue in the community of Belmont East that I wish to highlight is a lack of regular supply of water. This is a major concern for my community. The residents are all echoing the same sentiment, and I agree with them. I live in Belmont. My nursery, kindergarten, and boxing are all located in Belmont. Although I have 2 large tanks, the water supply is constantly short. So what about those citizens who are without tanks? The water supply is constantly short. So what about Belmont, those Belmont citizens who are without tanks? At times, I am forced to call fire services and WASA directly. We are without water for days in any 1 week. But thanks to the efforts of the UNC team, we are able to make contact and liaise with the authorities at WASA to provide Belmont residents with a constant supply of water over the last weekend. Happy to report that WASA kept its word and supplied water to the residents of Belmont over the last weekend. We shall continue to make representation for a regular supply of water from WASA to our Belmont people. As I end my brief presentation here this evening, let us as citizens of this beautiful nation continue to promote understanding, togetherness, harmony, unity, and abundance of love. Let us continue to struggle to build together communities and a more united and democratic country. Let us make Trinidad and Tobago a better place for all. Let us not hope for change anymore, but vote for change in Barataria and in Belmont East. One love. Long live the people of Belmont East and Barataria. Long live the United Congress. Long live the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Remember, on July 16th, go out and cast your vote put your X next to the symbol of the UNC on July 16th for Sharon and for Liana. Remember, on the 16th. You know, there are some people who don't even know there's a by-election taking place. So those of you in the Barataria district, those in Belmont East, you need to continue walking, you need to continue meeting and greeting so that your constituents will be well aware of the election date. Before I speak with you further, I just want us to acknowledge and thank all the persons who put their names forward as nominees for these two seats. The screening committee had a very hard time, but we were guided by the good Lord, and today I think the committee chose very well. Having listened to the two candidates now, we can see a clear pathway forward. Tonight, as we meet to speak about the by-elections, we must understand that our nation is in crisis at this time. We are facing very serious problems in almost every sphere of human endeavor in our country. We are about the halfway point and maybe getting to more than that, almost 3 years of the Rowley government. But I worry whether our country can survive under the Rowley government for the rest of the 2 years. Our beloved nation is in crisis. The Rowley-led government has no clue how to take us out of the crisis and how to return us to growth and prosperity. In fact, when they started off with their campaigns in 2015, when they were red and ready, they had a 10-point crime plan. Today, not one of those points, not one has been implemented. The Madam Minister of Labor, Ms. Schillingberger, remember her? She had a 10-point crime plan for labor and jobs. Today, not one single one of those has been implemented. And now I see they have gone from 10-point plans. I hear the Minister of Agriculture says he now has a 9-point plan for agriculture. Well, tonight let us say 0 points equal 0 votes. 0.0 votes. They are sleeping on the job. Prime Minister Rowley, wake up and do your job. Our country is in crisis. The economy is crumbling under the PNM. They want to give the impression that things are getting better. I ask you today, do you think that you are better off today than you were in 2015? Do you feel safer today on this Rowley PNM than you did? But you see, that is their way of operating. They live for today. They have no concept of plans and preparing for the future. It's all about taking care of their friends, their families, and their 1%. They do not care about those who have lost jobs, those who cannot put food on the table, cannot afford to send their children to school, to get books to go to school. They don't care about those who are in the depths of despair at this time. And we know many. With respect to the finance minister, all that he can do and talk about is taxes. Tax and more tax. Some people call him, what is it, Mr. Taxbert? Well, I want to show you something tonight as I ask you to see once again how this government lies to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
For the 5
Look at
years
the video.
that they were in, trying to be popular, they waived something called property tax. And man, do they hate that property tax. I don't know why they hate it so. Because I'm keeping a regular check on the visits that the field officers of the Valuation Division are making to various parts of Trinidad with respect to valuation of property. And I know district they're in. I know they're in Barataria, for example. One of the things I publicized recently was that if you are a recipient of senior citizens pension or disability grant or food card or your total income is equal to or less than senior citizens' pension, you are not liable to pay property tax. So pensioners don't have to pay property tax. It's in the law. It's in the law. And that has been in the law since 2009. So if you are an old age pensioner, if you're on a disability grant, or if your income is 3.5 or less, you are not liable to pay property tax. We're continuing now with our program to collect property tax. And I don't know why they hate it so. I know they're in Barataria, for example. Tell them wicked people, fire go
You hear a lie? That is another lie. I don't know what law Mr. Imbert is reading, but tonight I have the law and I will share it with you. He clearly said that since in 2009, the law said if you're on disability, if you're a pensioner, etc., what did he say? You're not liable to pay taxes. You hear a lie? That is a lie. And you saw the people in the audience, they're happy and clapping the lies. That's how they continue to misinform and lie to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I want to tell you, yes, in 2009, under Mr. Manning, they passed the Property Tax Act, and that is now contained in Chapter 7604 of the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. Within that law, that was the law, he said it already in the law, that law listed in section 16 of the law exemptions, all the exemptions. Exemption meaning that you are not liable to pay. If you are not listed in those exemptions, it means you are liable to pay. So what the law then said, you're exempt if you're a religious body, a charity organization, state enterprises, etc. That's 2009. No exemption for disability, pensioners, and so on. What the law then said is that you could apply for a deferral of the tax. So if you are on a public assistance grant, a disability grant, a senior citizens pension, Trinidad and Tobago conditional cash transfer card from the state, or does not receive an annual income exceeding the maximum amount of specified in Section 3 of the Senior Citizens Pension Act, and you can apply for a deferral on the grounds of the impoverished condition of the owner and his inability to improve his financial position by reason of age, health, other special circumstances. That is not an exemption, you are liable. Under the 2009 law, when you apply, Section 23 continues to tell us, a certificate under subsection 2 shall be conclusive of the owner's inability to pay tax assessed under this act. So you can apply for the deferral, you get a certificate, and you are unable to pay. Look at what these wicked people did. When they brought the amendment to the Parliament 2018, they amended Section 23, the one I just read, that you can apply for the deferral. But look what's going to happen now. What is going to happen when you come for the deferral? This is what they have amended the law to say now. In Section 23, I'll find it here for you. But what it is they're saying they will give you the deferral for 2 years. Where the law previously had that you could get a deferral, simplicity. They have now changed the law in Section 23 to say, here it is, I found it. God is great always, here is it. The amended law now reads, Section 23 is amended by repealing subsection 3. And 3 was where it said, a certificate given for the deferral is conclusive that you don't have to pay. Look what they did with that section. The relief granted under this section shall be valid for 2 years and may be renewed. So you could go back and renew it. May be renewed if the conditions of the applicant remains unchanged. So you could go back, at the end of 2 years, you go back and apply again. Now you tell me that pensioner conditions will change in 2 years' time. A person on the disability grant and all the others that I read out, will it change in the 2 years? So they've taken it where you had a conclusive referral. You've now said, hey fellas, 2 years are coming for you. And you know what happens when that pensioner or person on disability grant and so on passes away, dies? You know what's going to happen? They come in for your child or your grandchild. The tax will be imposed. So it's not that they're exempted. They're going to get that tax from you before you die. And if you die and you had worked so hard for your entire lifetime, what happens? Your child, your grandchild, your cousin, whoever you left that property to, they become liable. And if they cannot pay it, they will seize the property. They will seize it. So, Mr. Embert, we do not believe your lies. We do not believe your lies. And then you amended the law, as I pointed out in Parliament, they amended to say that every separate building structure will be liable to tax. I tell you, the dog house, the temple, the chicken house, the chicken coop, the outhouse, the latrine. Some people calling this thing a toilet tax, but it's far more serious than a toilet tax. And I want to quote a little from Michael Harris. He says, my last hooray on the property tax. This is in today's Express, Monday, 18 June 2018, when he says, I will not read all of it, but I suggest you read it because it's very instructive. He says, the fact that the government has eschewed the simplicity and transparency of the area-based assessment for the contentious and complicated annual rental value might well be telling. For as one commentator has pointed out, the ARV will be impossible to administer in an equitable and efficient manner. And listen, and precisely because of that, it opens the way for corruption and political victimization. He continues, and maybe that is exactly as the government wants it to be. I am saying to the government, this property tax in the way that you have formulated to put before the Parliament, the way you're pushing it over to the country, we voted no against it. You went with your own simple votes, simple majority. The day that we form the government again, we will repeal the property tax in Trinidad and Tobago. We will repeal the property tax. So on the economy and all the taxes, property tax and so on, there is more that is happening in Trinidad and Tobago. We celebrate tomorrow Labor Day. What is there to celebrate? And Darcy said that. What is there to celebrate? Well, yes, there is something. We celebrate the 81st anniversary of the foundation of the modern trade union movement. Yes, we do that. But we do that in a scenario where there are over 50,000 people without jobs. Jobs that have been lost under this rowdy, wicked government. When we were in government, we created visible jobs and indirect jobs. There were more persons at work in jobs than out of work. Since they've come into office, the number of persons with jobs has fallen. And what is very interesting, nowhere can you find statistics to tell us what has happened since June last year, almost a year. What are the stats with respect to persons lost jobs, persons in jobs? Because you go on the central bank website, none. The CSO website, none. They put out a monetary report by the central bank that has no new statistics. Came out just a couple of weeks ago, the 2018, but the statistics are way back to June 2017, even then recording fallout in jobs being lost. So we celebrate the anniversary of Labor Day, but not really a celebration for so many people without jobs who have lost their jobs, and they're threatening that more will lose their jobs. I rolled out in one of our meetings our plan to create jobs in the corridor, and we have plans for elsewhere. a lot of things that we can do. The government has shared with us not one shred of plan or point or idea as to how they will create jobs. Because to me, second to crime, jobs really stand in the priority of what the government should be doing. And I'll get to crime in a minute. So, on another day, given our time for tonight, because you really needed to hear candidates, I will repeat, but you can go up on our Facebook. We have our plan to create jobs on the corridor, which I had shared with you before. Tonight, there's one other matter I would like to share with you, and that has to do with the crime situation. Everyone has spoken it tonight. Everywhere you go, anytime, any place, the fear is there. You're afraid in your home. You're afraid for your children in school. You're afraid on your workplace, on the roadways, on the byways, on the highways. Everyone is scared. And while that is happening, I am shocked to read for you some information that came to me today, and which was raised by Ian Allen on his program a couple of days ago. It has to do with unmarked contracts. In the last quarter of 2017, the Ministry of National Security delivered expressions of interest packages to specific companies. Existing contractors were included, and the expressions of interest were to supply unmarked vehicles to the Ministry of National Security. The due date for submitting the expressions of interest was a public holiday, and persons were notified that the deadline was extended as a result. When these expressions of interest were submitted, evaluation process took several months. At the end of March, several long-standing contractors who had been in the business for well over 10 years were notified in writing that the contracts were terminated effective April 30, 2018. And they were to make arrangements to collect their vehicles at the IATF, that's the Interagency Task Force compound in El Socorro. So those who had been supplying these vehicles for over the past 10 years, so we're not saying as they were under the partnership, they were under the previous P&M, and they had a track record of providing vehicles. They said, collect your vehicles, your last day of work, April 30, 2018. In April, the contractors who were terminated were contacted by the ministry and asked if they were willing to work with the ministry. Bearing in mind the current economic climate, all the contractors allegedly said yes. They collected documents which provided a suggested rental rate. The documents had to be submitted by the end of the day. The companies involved met this requirement. To date, they have never heard from the ministry again, despite numerous efforts to beat the ministry's big boys by phone and in person. I understand that someone identified themselves as a police officer, indicated that the owner of one of the selected companies, Alison Holder Clement, received a contract to provide vehicles to the ministry while these others were terminated. To date, that company has not been able to provide any of the vehicles. The question has been asked, how did they had no track record of supplying vehicles? Indeed, they owned no vehicles whatsoever. They were given the contract, and the question is this: is there some connection between the owner director of this company and a high government official? I am asking an unmarked contract taking place. We have 3 ministers of national security. But I promise you on Friday we will be dealing with Minister Dillon in the Parliament with a motion of no confidence in Minister Dillon in the fight against crime. You know, let us look at the modus operandi of the P&M. They take front before front take them. So they know bad things are going down. They know that up to today, you can't have a charge brought against the best friend of the Prime Minister, A.V. Drilling, for fraudulently billing the company for fake oil. No charge, almost $100 million. You have all kinds of allegations coming forward. And they're not dealing with that. Each time one hits the fan, they stand up on a platform and they attack. I have warned you. And every time I speak, I will warn you that the PNM Dirty Tricks campaign, they are fast at work. And as they see that these seats are slipping away from them, they will come back with their makeup and fake tails to nasty the names of those of your great party. So we've seen what they've done with the man who was nominated as to be the commissioner of police in a time when we need to fight crime. When the Prime Minister was crying, weeping and wailing, gnashing teeth from since September last 2015. Every day crying, we have to get a commissioner of police, we have to get a commissioner, we have to get a... When it comes to the parliament, they vote against the recommendation. And what did they do before they did that? They said they fabricated to distort. They talk about Dulalshan. Yes, they spoke about it in the newspaper, big expose. Clarence Rambarat, some report, up to date we can't see the report, saying this man is some land business issue. You know, I heard on the news tonight, TV news as I'm coming, none other than the Attorney General writing a letter to say that his license has not been revoked and he's cleared to go and use the land. But after they did their Dirty Tricks campaign to muddy the man's name, and they passed this thing hurriedly in the parliament, they come in after and say, well, no, because they know the day they revoke it, they will know they will end up in the courthouse. But they did their dirty job beforehand. And listen, friends, this is not about race. The only person saying race in this issue is none other than the Prime Minister himself. He's the first one pull race card and saying the opposition talking, there is no race in crime. It doesn't matter if you're man, woman, or child. It doesn't matter if you're Afro-Trini, Indo-Trini, Chinese-Trini, any Trini. Everyone in Trinidad and Tobago is at risk when it comes to crime. There's no race in that. There's no race in when you go to the supermarket to buy food. All the high prices have gone. It affects everybody in this country. So, Prime Minister, nobody's taking your race baiting and your whistleblowing. We're not taking that race card. Do we regard no race in this business? Do you agree with me? Let us vote for performance. Let us vote for those who will deliver and who can work. And more important, you know, sometimes you can't give everything. Sometimes you can't do everything, but you know what? You could care. You could always care and share it. Share the love. Share the comfort. I have been very, very devastated at the number of funerals I was invited to attend of young people. Young sons and daughters gunned down. And what is the answer? The Prime Minister speaks every time, stands on a platform. He doesn't speak of fighting crime. The man says he's calling an emergency National Security Council meeting. He said, okay, we'll do it on Monday, 4 days away. It's so urgent, you know, but you know what? Let's take the weekend off and the holiday off and we'll do it meeting on Monday. I don't know what became of that meeting. Whilst all of this is happening, Prime Minister finds the time to come to talk about race and the opposition. And his other minister, you know, this man really something, the minister of everything. I told him, stop writing letters and do your job. Minister Stuart Young. The man write a next letter to complain to say the opposition trying to muzzle him. He's the Minister of Communications. Stuart Young, stop writing letters and deal with the governance of Trinidad and Tobago. Talk is cheap. So I am warning you again, they will nasty people's names, they plan to do it. They did it to us before the 2015 election, you know. They came out early o'clock on it and they dealt with the fake emails. You remember that? Now they have some fake analytica, some foolishness. I see they're making attacks on a fellow named KDs. You remember former Minister KDs? When you read the article, it never say KDs get $42 million, you know. But they put 42 million on KDs. But when you read the article properly, but that's how they are. Their job is to make us look bad, and you hope it will make them look good. But my friends, we know you can't look good because somebody is looking bad. You have to do good, see good, be good, and do good, and deliver for yourself. I have so much to say to you. I just think I will just close to tell you this. We have crime. criminals on the rampage. We have property tax and other taxes looming on us. We have joblessness. We have high food prices. And you know what's coming next? Flooding. Flooding, because they haven't cleared or cleaned. And while some flooding, others not getting basic necessity of life, water. Liana told you about that. And what the government says, the government is more concerned with the distractions. Let us not get distracted. Tonight I'll just share with you what I recommit to, what our great party recommits to, and what we stand for, some of the things that we stand for. The UNC is committed to working to improve the lives of all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, to ensure good governance, to protect the rights of people in our country. Our values are integrity, excellence, partnership, participation, and responsiveness. We stand for the safety and security of all citizens. That is of paramount importance to the UNC, and we will ensure that mechanisms are put in place to restore a safer and more secure environment for the people of our country. I want to remind you, when we were there, we brought serious crimes down to the lowest in over 31 years. 31 years. We believe in opportunity for all citizens, ensuring that citizens have the chance to become employed in sustainable, well-paying jobs. I remind you, we created over 55,000 new jobs when we were there. And as a young student told you, we did that without introducing a single new tax. We believe in empowering citizens through education and skills development. I think most of you will remember the work done by my government in education and in skills development, many of which they are shutting down now. We stand for promoting economic independence. We stand for progress and positive development of Trinidad and Tobago through economic diversification. I saw the Prime Minister on a platform. I heard him in Barataria. Like that word get him so vexed. You know, that red flag to a bull. He got so angry with the word diversification. Prime Minister, if you do not understand, if we do not diversify, we will die. We will die. This country will die. And so we believe in economic diversification. That is why we speak about the fourth industrial revolution, the digital age, the green economy, the blue economy, the silver economy. We had plans, we have plans, and we have more plans to boost the economy, to grow the economy. And you know, when we do that, what happens? We create more jobs. Mia Motley, my sister in Barbados, new Prime Minister, she has created a ministry of the blue economy, a whole ministry of the blue economy, because she understands, as I do and we did, that we are surrounded by the blue waters of the Caribbean Sea. On our side here, the Atlantic, we are surrounded by water. Let us use the water to create diversification in the economy, to create jobs in the economy. Further, we stand for integrity and good governance. It must account. That is why on Wednesday, we will have something called Prime Minister's Question Time. Do you know why? Because we work to change the standing orders, to make government ministers. I was Prime Minister, I would answer the questions. I see when they get questions, they just confuse the answers. When you watch it, you do everything except answer. And when they start to get vexed, they start to pong us, and they do not answer the questions. And of course, they are always saved by someone in the parliament. You know that. I'm not allowing that question. Sorry. That's how it goes. We stand for transparency and accountability. We believe in building a society based on meritocracy. What does that mean? On merit. That is how a democracy should run. That is how we should govern ourselves and allow ourselves to be governed based on merit, not based on friend and family, not based on financiers. We believe in that. We believe in strengthening the family and promoting independence. We believe in creating a home-owning democracy. A home-owning democracy. That is why, Jill, let me remind you, she does many times, Munilal, when they were there, that is why we said we will give you the HDC houses, those older ones, for $100, man. $100. We believe in a home-owning democracy. That is why we were moving and we were doing all the random draws for these houses. I don't know how they're giving out houses, but I'll tell you one thing. They have not built a single HEC house in its almost 3 years they've been there. Not one. So all house they're giving out, guess who built that? Jill and Chan and Rudal Munilad and the partnership. Not one house. We believe, I repeat, in a home-owning democracy. Every mother will understand. Every father, every family appreciates and understands. And so we also believe in a shareholding democracy. What is that now? A shareholding democracy is where you own shares in the state companies. We had begun it with the IPO for Phoenix Park. For the first time ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago under the government I led, the ordinary people of our country could own shares in the energy sector. Own shares in the energy sector. Now I see Mr. Embert is once again attempting to misinform and fool people. He says, listen, we have something called NI. Remind me of the fund. NIF, National Investment Fund. And they're going to be selling your assets, your patrimony. They want to sell it. And he said, people, listen, you can come in and own. You could own a piece of TGU. You could own a piece of this, own a piece of that. Mr. Emmett, I'm warning you, you know. You have a cabinet note, 1, which says that the shares in TGU will be divested to John Public so much and so much. You change that cabinet note, and now you want to sell in that cabinet note the majority of it to a company called Ferrostal. How did that happen? Did Ferrostal make a bid? What was the process for them now to offer to Ferrostal? I think it is 49% of the shares. When you say that ordinary people will be able to buy the shares, you block off 49% by cabinet edict, directive, mandate, instruction that this is to be sold to Ferrostal. Did you know Ferrostal is the same people who built the plant in the first place? The TGU plant? Did you know the Bacchanal then, when they couldn't pay, our government, you, taxpayers' money had to pay to build that plant? And that is one of the most money-making US dollar company in Trinidad, you know. Oh yes, I understand people reminding me that the Prime Minister himself visited them when he was in opposition. What process? So when he comes in bird to tell us he's fooling us again, and everybody feeling happy, I'll buy a few shares because TGU is making money, I'll get back something dividend on my shares. I want to tell you and again that we commit. You know, he did the same thing with Sandals, huh? You see, if you talk, he should listen to me, Motley up in Barbados as well, about their experiences with Sandals. He should listen to the Prime Minister in Antigua about what happened with Sandals, because not a cent comes back to the people of the country. They operate like enclaves. They close off and they lock down your beach. You can't go. Well, worse, I can't go. I'm sure I can't go. They will lock off the beach. And all the tourists who come, they're not even coming out from the inside of the enclave, that is the Sandals, to buy a Mammy apple in Barbados or a piece of flying fish in Barbados. All of it coming foreign and going foreign. In fact, the records are now showing that even though they have more tourist arrivals in Barbados, in Antigua and Barbados, the income from it is down. You know why? Before it was smaller hoteliers, small people, ordinary people running it, so the money was coming and staying. Now they have more people coming, and guess what? Making less money. That is a model. And again, the Prime Minister admits he met the people before election when he was in opposition. So deals have been made. We don't know the terms and conditions of these things. We do know what is happening in other countries. And I want to put a warning out tonight. I want to warn the public servants that this is happening with Ferrostal. When it is clear that the manual for a state enterprise like TGU, the manual gives the process very clear. If you want to divest shares, there is a process. You must advertise the widest possible advertisements. None of that has happened. Instead, the Prime Minister met Ferrostal bosses before election. Done deal, I don't know, I'm asking, what was the process? Sandals, buying this boat, Galleon's Passage, going down Australia. I know the Prime Minister is a sailor, he likes to be a sailor, Carnival and so on, but goes down to buy boat. What does he know about boats? Comes back and announces boat, and instantly there's a report about Ostal and Stephen K.D.'s and about a taxi. Isn't that strange? As soon as he comes back from Australia, he says, let's buy some more boats. Hey fellas, let's buy some more boats. Report comes out with all kinds of things, fabrications in that report, May 29th, after they came back. So we have Bridgman's crooked deal, is it? You have Sandals' crooked deal, is it? You have the Ferrostal, sale to Ferrostal. What was the process? Or the proposed sale of Ferrostal. There's one other, the Galleon's Passage, yes? And you have ministers buying a boat. I want to warn public servants, you know. This government will not last. They will have to get out of office. And therefore, do not public servants get wrapped up in the deals that they are making, because you will be liable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago in law in Trinidad and Tobago. So all this soul select buying the government wants to do and is doing, all this friend and family contracts that are going on, if the public servants allow it to happen, the public servant becomes responsible and could face jail terms under the law of Trinidad and Tobago. So these fellas are on their way out. I see Heinz walking all about in wherever with a Panama hat. I say, keep walking. You are walking on your way out. Walk out. Walk out. Walk out and go. And so I was sharing with you some of the things we are committed to: a shareholding democracy, a home-owning democracy. You know what else too? A land-owning democracy. We are committed to that. We started the work under Munilal in the Ministry of Housing, a program called Land for the Landless. You see, but some people stick break in their ears. When we were telling you about it in 2015, you wasn't listening, you're too hardened. But you say, who do here have to? And we're feeling it. We're really feeling it. Home-owning democracy, shareholding democracy, landholding democracy. We are about the democracy of Trinidad and Tobago. We remain committed to that. And if it is, we were not able to do all of it, we were not able to do it fast enough, we were well on our way to establishing those things. We believe in fostering entrepreneurship. We believe in facilitating the creation of new businesses, new industries, and that's a rollout plan. Some of it I'd shared, which I say is on the Facebook now. You know what is also important? We believe in restoring Trinidad and Tobago's image as a leader in the region and as a leader internationally. I saw Mr. Mondale, I think, Ambassador designate for Trinidad and Tobago, being interviewed by the Senate committee in the U.S. Congress. And you should hear what they're saying about Trinidad and Tobago. They asked Mondale, he says, yes, Trinidad and Tobago has the highest recruits to ISIS per capita in the world. Little Trinidad and Tobago. When I signed the UN resolution, I think it was in 2014, at the United Nations, Mr. Rowley and Mr. Farris all over Trinidad crying, weeping, screaming. Why are you doing that? No, they'll come and look for us. No, these terrorists, they were here, they were doing it already. Now, they bring an anti-terrorism bill, which I'm saying, we have not had much time to look at the report. It's coming for Wednesday in the Parliament, Anti-Terrorist Act. Yes, we have to fight the terrorists. I shared with you, I think it was the last time I was here, on the platform, we must make sure it doesn't unfairly target any of our citizens. We must do it to balance the rights of innocent citizens as against the no rights or criminal rights of the criminals and the terrorists. That will be my job and the job of all MPs here when we go to Parliament on Wednesday to ensure that our citizens are not unduly discriminated against. Nafisa told me a few days ago when I came up for Eid, up to the mosque, and can I thank the mosque in Barataria for their warm welcome. In particular, I'll thank Councillor Safras, who spent, I am told, 10 days in the mosque in the month of Ramadan. Councillor for the area, Councillor Safras, I thank you. Thank you. So we will do, that's our job. I was in Nafisa told us on Friday, Salam is smiling, he was there with us too. She said, you must be the guardian of our democracy. She said, Kamala, you must be the guard. She is a lawyer, we studied together, so I know her in that way. Said, Kamala, you must be the guardian of the democracy. And she shared some thoughts with us. And I said, okay, Saddam will come and meet you to see what concerns you may have with the bill. And Saddam did meet her to share concerns. So we consulted her, former PNM. She's still the deputy leader of the PNM. Anyway, we consulted in the JSC, our members, Munilal, Saddam, and Prakash Ramadan consulted with many of the groups. So she shared those concerns, and I said, okay, we'll meet you, take up your points. I want to give you the assurance, when we go to Parliament on Wednesday to deal with the anti-terrorist bill, your MPs, our MPs, your UNC MPs in the Parliament will do all we can to ensure that it is a fair bill, it will be a fair piece of law that will not unduly discriminate against anyone in our country, and will have all the due process clauses contained within it. So as I close now, I think it is very important that a government must listen to people. This government has become tone deaf. And what does tone deaf mean? Tone deaf means you don't know what is the reality. You're not on the ground. You don't know what the people are feeling. You don't know what people are thinking. You don't know how they're hurting. So you could make all these weird statements the government makes and the Prime Minister makes. Jalen shared some with you tonight from Mr. Hines, you know. They can say all these things because they're not connecting with people. They're just not connecting. They're tone deaf. So Prime Minister comes to Barataria in the height of the month of Ramadan and is so insensitive in his comments about the Muslim community, the carnival plot and all the other things. So insensitive. He just doesn't seem to understand. Hear every creed and race. Thank you. Find an equal place. But we believe government must be responsive. And if they don't hear, they will have to feel. If the government not listening, if the government not hearing, this government will have to feel. We have to send them a message. But there is unity in that diversity, because as Boga Jom used to always tell me, see grace in every face, not race. Hear every creed, every race. We will have an equal place, but we have to work to ensure that that happens. So my friends, as I close tonight, I want to remind you on July 16th, those of you who are registered to vote, cast your vote. Cast your vote next to the UNC symbol. Vote for Liana, vote for Sharon. And let us put them to work for the people of those districts. They have demonstrated that they have the commitment and the will. They have demonstrated that they are willing to walk with the constituents, talk with them, so that they will know exactly what is to be done. By the way, where's the candidate for Barataria for the PNM? I understand this candidate is in Grenada for a week. In Grenada for a week. I don't know what's happening in Grenada, but I would have thought the candidate will be coming and listening to you in Barataria to find out what you need done to get it done, to represent you. I would have thought that, but that's how it is. Remember on July 16, those registered to vote, as Liana told you, do not just hope for change, vote for change. Vote for change on July 16. Let us send a strong message. This by-election, these two, is the first step on a pathway to bring back good governance to Trinidad and Tobago. And all this talking here tonight, we enjoy it, it's nice. We were the UNC family. We feel very happy tonight. Belmont, welcome to Barataria. They are part of the team, our team in Barataria. And likewise, I hope one day Belmont will welcome Barataria to Belmont on another day. So the talk is nice, the camaraderie is wonderful. You can feel the energy, you can feel the strength here tonight. Let us translate that into getting the job done. Do not become complacent and feel you win already. And I want you to remember this. Kevin told me this just recently. I shared it with Barataria. Let me share it with all of you, because many of you will be on the ground in the campaign. A candidate is very good with a neighbor of his. They're very good friends. And the candidate always, a gentleman, okay? He's not yet a candidate. Very good with his neighbor. He will go out and help the neighbor, anything happening, neighbors, we do this, we do that. Help out when in trouble, help out in need. Okay, so this guy decides to run for a seat. And he's campaigning everywhere. Everywhere, you know, to win the seat. And by the end of the day, he gets back home and he sees the neighbor in the yard and he says, "Hey, neighbors, you went and voted for me?" You know what the neighbor told him? "But you never asked me for my vote." Let not that happen to us for July 16. When you walk, when you talk, everyone you know, ask for their vote for the UNC. Tell them, let us send a message to the Rowley PNM as we bring victory in these two seats. I thank you, and may God continue to bless each and every one of you.